Hello and welcome to another Doctor Who related video. Now recently I've been seeing a lot of these videos sort of pop up in the form of my top 5 bits of Doctor Who merchandise or top 10 bits of merchandise in my collection or my most wanted items in my collection. And I thought that's a very nice idea for a video, and it's a video I wouldn't mind doing in the near future. But I thought, how could I put my own little spin on that? And I thought 2016 is fastly diminishing and dwindling away. And I thought, wouldn't it be good to look back at my top 5 bits of merchandise I picked up in 2016 to sort of celebrate 2016 in a weird way. Now, if you want to do your top 5 bits of merchandise you picked up in 2016, comment it or do a video response and I'll check it out. So the way this video is going to work, I'm going to show you 5 bits of merchandise, what are my favourite from 2016, and of course I'm going to throw in a few honourable mentions because, hey, you gotta love a few honourable mentions because it's a bit hard to pick 5. But anyway, without further ado, let's see what is at number 5. First rare item I got in 2016, and it was Cyberman 2. Look at it. Look how gorgeous it is with its nice silver foil finish. Oh, it's glorious. Like this time last year, I was sort of very interested in the Cyberman series. I thought, right, 2016, I'm going to try and get the Cyberman series. I went on Amazon to see how much Cyberman 2 was, and it was 200 quid. And subsequently, it's gone up in price. It was like 1,000 quid on Amazon, but now I don't think it's on Amazon anymore. I think there's no listings on Amazon, so yeah. So I thought, God, I'm never going to get this. I'm not going to pay 200 quid for it. But back in February, I was, on eBay, as you do, and I typed in Cyberman 2. I was just getting like Cyberman figures, and this appeared. And when I saw it, my mouth just dropped to the floor. I was like, this cannot be true. And the price I got it, it was just an absolute steal. And I thought this was a steal of a century for me, but that will come later in the list. And I managed to get this for 10 quid, and there was no hesitation. I was just like, right, I'm buying it. And I managed to complete the Cyberman series, and obviously Big Finish have re-released it with series 1 and 2 in this massive box set, but the original release of this is probably, I would say, the rarest Doctor Who related audio Big Finish have done. It's rare for 2 reasons. One, it's the first ever Big Finish box set, and the way they packaged it with this nice sort of silver foil for the Cyberman, it must have cost them a bit, and that's why it's so rare, because they did like a limited run of them, and it's just an absolute gorgeous set, containing 4 stories, and it's just brilliant. And the Cyberman series, if you haven't checked it out, do it. It's a brilliant series. Scorpius is fantastic, and I've got to say, the series is just phenomenal. It's really worth checking out. So at number 5, Cyberman 2, and this is really the start of the rare items I would get. So Cyberman 2 is really the god, and it has been blessing me with these lovely rare items. So really, I've got to thank this, because the gods have been blessed me, the cyber gods have blessed me with lovely rare stuff. So now, on to number 4. A book, but this is not just any normal book. It is Lung Barrow, yes, one of the most iconic Virgin books, and it is the rarest Virgin book out of the whole Virgin book catalogues, out of the New Adventures and the Missing Adventures. And Lung Barrow is my bargain of 2016 for getting it for 1p. Oh, so I better tell you the story of how I managed to get this for 1p. I was looking on Amazon, as you do, at Doctor Who stuff. I thought, oh, look how much Lung Barrow is now. And I saw it for 1p, and the emotions you feel are just incredible. Just like, right, I'm going to buy it. And then the wait comes for the dispatch email, and that's sort of the worst time, because you think, oh, I'm probably going to get an email saying, oh, sorry, there was a mess up with the listing, or this item is out of stock. And then you're feeling, my God, I could own Lung Barrow, this could be my chance. So there's so many emotions going on, but thankfully you get the dispatch email saying Lung Barrow's been dispatched, and yeah, got it. And it's in pretty good nick, really. It's in very good condition. The only sort of problem with it is the spine's a bit faded, but hey, that's not that bad. As long as the book's fine, that's the main thing. Yeah, so it's just exciting. And yeah, in all, I got this for £2.81. So the postage was more, because obviously Amazon's £2.80 postage, so the postage was more than Lung Barrow itself. But it's just glorious to have Lung Barrows. I feel that Lung Barrow is a very prolific book. When people think of the Virgin books, they no doubt think of Lung Barrow, and I feel that Lung Barrow has this magical and mysterious feel as the Doctor returns to Gallifrey to face his past, why he left, you know, his family 673 years ago. So you could argue this is quite a controversial subject in the form of, you know, the Doctor's life before the TARDIS. To many that's quite an exciting thought, and I think that's what draws people to Lung Barrow. You know, they want to know about the Doctor's past. And I think that's what gives Lung Barrow that great mystical feel. And as a whole, I think Lung Barrow is always going to have that rare bubble around it, and I think that even at the time when it was published, it was highly sought after. And still to this day it's quite highly sought after. I mean, about a month later, once I got my copy of Lung Barrow, it was on Amazon for like 350 quid, but now it's dropped down to about 198 quid, and I think one's listed on eBay for about 160 quid. So I think Lung Barrow is always going to have that rarity around it no matter what. At number 3 we have another book. We have Doctor Who in an Exciting Adventure with the Daleks. Yes, now this book isn't particularly difficult to get. You can get it for about 15 quid, so it's relatively straightforward to get, and this book was the first ever Doctor Who paperback book, so it's got a nice little bit of a first in its title, and it was published by Armada back in 1965. Now you might be wondering, why is this on your list? I've got to thank Pitchcore Black for this, because without him I wouldn't have known about this item whatsoever. Now this book is signed by 3 Doctor Who actors, which have no relation to this story whatsoever, so it's not signed by any 1960s members of cast. It is signed by 3 bizarre choices. We know this is a bizarre thing to get signed, really, by these 3 actors, but the only thing what they have in common with this story is that all 3 actors have faced the Daleks. So if I open it up, I've got to say I love the cover art. It's very mysterious with like the first Doctor there and the TARDIS. I just love that. So if we open it up, it is signed by Colin Baker, and if I go to the back, it is signed by Nicola Bryant, but the best signature I'm going to save till last. If I can open the page, and it is signed by John Pertwee. Yes, John Pertwee. So this is just great to have John Pertwee's signature, because I know I would never be able to meet him, so this is sort of the next best thing to get his signature. And yeah, it's just nice to have John Pertwee's autograph, and this is just a very special thing, and it's quite a novel sort of and quite a bizarre thing actually in my collection, to have a book, you know, the first ever paperback signed by John Pertwee is really nice, and obviously it's nice to have Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant's signature. So yeah, bizarre choice of actors to sign this, but I'm not complaining because it's got the almighty John Pertwee's autograph, and yeah, it's a nice little book. I'll just show you a bit more. There we are. So yeah, signed by 3 Doctor Who actors. Marvellous. So number 3, Doctor Who in an Exciting Adventure with the Daleks paperback. Number 2, we have the 1971 Doctor Who Annual. Of course this was going to be on my list. This was my most wanted Doctor Who book, because it just is marvellous. You know, season 7 is a fantastic season. I absolutely love season 7, and what a season it was to introduce us to the 3rd Doctor, and I think the cover really does symbolise that. I mean, this is just the best cover for any Doctor Who book. It's got a lovely illustration of the 3rd Doctor, a nice sort of illustration of Liz, the unit helicopter, and Bessie. Now I've told the story before of how I got this, because this book was a pain in the backside to get, for the simple fact is I kept on getting outbid, so it took me about 4 or 5 attempts before I managed to get this, and I was basically like, oh screw it, I'm just going to throw everything at it. And thankfully I managed to get it, or else I'll still be on the hunt to this day for it. And boy, I am so glad to have it, because when you look inside, it's just, I just love it, and I'll show you inside in a minute. But this is the rarest Doctor Who annual, I believe. This is rarer than the Patrick Troughton ones. The William Hartnell annuals are actually quite easy to get. They don't go for much money compared to this. This normally retails around the £100 to £150 mark. I mean, I've seen one for about 175 quid, so it really does fluctuate. I mean, the prices dropped because when I was after it, everybody seemed to be wanting this annual. There was just loads of bid wars, and yeah, it caused me to lose my rag a few times. So I was just like, I really want this book. I was getting really quite peed off. I was sort of missing out on my favourite book, but here it is. I finally got it. The honourable mentions, we have I Am the Doctor, John Pertwee's final memoir. Yes, now when I got this book back in March, it was 35 quid. Now this book has suddenly increased its rarity and now become about 100 quid. I have no clue why it's increased rarity, maybe because it's John Pertwee's sort of final autobiography, but because this is the book where it covers the Doctor Who and Wurzel Gummidge years, you know, two massive parts of my childhood really, so it's just nice to have this. And it's got some nice little behind the scenes photos, what I haven't seen, of his time in Doctor Who, and just the title of the book really does sum up the book for me, because John Pertwee is definitely the Doctor in my eyes. The second honourable mention is the 13 Doctor set released back in September for the UK, and obviously back in towards the end of July for America. Now at a time we didn't think this would reach the UK, so a lot of us like me went out to get it from the US, but thankfully it did reach UK shores. And I have to say, if you are a Doctor Who collector, then this is a must. To have all 13 Doctors comprised in one box set is just fantastic. I know we got the 11 Doctors set back in 2010, which is alright, and a lot cheaper price I must add, but yeah, the only negative with this right now I suppose is the price tag. It seems to be quite a high price. This was retailed about 100 quid. I'm sure it's a bit more now because obviously Toys R Us have run out of stock. But for me, the highlights of the set were obviously the first Doctor, the third Doctor, especially because that was a John Pertwee, well, third Doctor variant I've wanted for ages, and the fifth Doctor and the sixth Doctor. Those to me are the standouts of the set. Time Crash set released way back in 2008, and 2016 is the year I managed to obtain it. And not only one set but two. I managed to find these two in two different bundles, and this on its own. Now the Time Crash set has never been a cheap set to get. It's always been quite an expensive set because obviously it was limited to 3,000 back in 2008 in San Diego. Now I'll talk about the story in full in a later video, and I review the Time Crash set and I look at it in more detail. But for now, Time Crash set is in the honourable mention. It's time to reveal my top purchase of 2016. So at number one we have Moon Boots and Dinner Suit. Yeah, I bet some of you are like really underwhelmed, going, what? How is this at number one? You've showed Long Barrow, the 1971 annual, and you're choosing this? Well, when I show you the content inside this, you will understand why this is at number one, and the special content inside is just blew me away when I found out about it, and it just means a hell of a lot to me, especially coming that John Pertwee is my favourite Doctor, and to have a special bit of memorabilia of John's life is special. And it's a brilliant book. Honestly, I enjoyed reading this book a hell of a lot, learning about John's childhood, and I can see similarities between my childhood and his childhood, which is quite nice. But yeah, it's just an amazing book. Some people have a Bible next to their bed. I keep this. To me, this is a holy relic, and I best show you the stuff inside because it will prove that it is a holy relic. Just look at the back. Lovely photo of John and Ingeborg there. Oh, beautiful. So now I'm going to show you what makes this copy of Moon Boots and Dinner Suit so special. Right, onto the sort of special bits of stuff what came with my copy of Moon Boots and Dinner Suit. First we have a little receipt of the book there. We've got Elm Tree Books, Moon Boots and Dinner Suits, John Pertwee, and the cost and when it was published, which is very nice. Absolutely love that. It's a nice little addition. Beautiful. Now we have a little review of the book. Got to be very careful because it's quite a bit of fragile stuff, this. And we've got a bit of a review of the book itself, which is very nice. Of the book itself. There we are. Just show you that quickly. Yeah, it's a nice little special touch to that. Now this item I'm going to show you really does set apart why this became my favourite item of 2016, and this is probably my favourite item in my entire Doctor Who collection, because John Pertwee means a hell of a lot to me. You know, he's a big part of my childhood and has helped me through so many things in my life, and to have this piece of memorabilia is just astonishing, and it just means a hell of a lot to me. And it is John Pertwee's Memorial Service Programme, which is just absolutely incredible. Honestly, it's signed by Caroline John as well, which is just absolutely astounding to have this. And I'll just show you inside. We've got the service there, which is just beautiful. We've got the readings by Nick Courtney, you know, Bill Pertwee as well, doing family reflections there. It's just incredible to have this, and this is so special, and it's just words can't describe how much this sort of means to me and how much this book means to me actually in general. It's just incredible. I absolutely love this, and it's a very special piece of memorabilia for me, being a massive John Pertwee fan, because at the end of the day John Pertwee is my idol, and to have this is just astonishing, and I don't think anything I buy now will top this, because this is just a very, very special piece. So I'm going to tell you the story of how I managed to get this, because it's quite a bizarre tale actually, when you think about all this stuff what came with it. And yeah, let's just go into the story. Right, the story of how I got moon boots and dinner suits and all this special stuff was around my birthday time, so that makes it even more special. But I ordered it a couple of days after my birthday because I had my birthday money, and obviously March being the third month, it's very much like quite superstitious in my eyes, you know, John Pertwee, Third Doctor, etc. So I thought, I'd buy moon boots and dinner suits. Now Phantom Publishing did like a reprint back in like 2013, and I thought, no, I'm going to try and get the original. And I saw this copy for £8, and bearing in mind none of this extra stuff was listed in the description, so whether the seller forgot all about it is just bizarre. How could you forget about these lovely bits of merchandise, you know, these bits of memorabilia? It just astounds me. So I picked it up for £8. I thought that's an absolute bargain to get the original, and it arrived, you know, about 3 or 4 days later. And when I opened it up and got all this crazy bizarre stuff in it, it just made it worthwhile. And it's so beautiful to have this, and this is why this is my favourite, probably, I'm gonna say it, my favourite item in my Doctor Who collection, because add all this stuff together, it creates an ultimate combo, and this is just a fantastic book. If you get a chance to get moon boots and dinner suits, do it. It's absolutely fascinating to know about John's sort of Navy life and how he sort of coped with that, how he got into sort of theatre, how he kept his acting career going in the war, and his childhood, because he had quite an interesting childhood, I'll be honest. And it's just a fantastic read and a very special item in my collection. To recap the top 5, at number 5 we have Cyberman 2. At number 4, Lung Barrow. We have at number 3, Doctor Who, An Exciting Adventure with the Daleks, signed by Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant and John Pertwee. At number 2, we have the 1971 annual. And at number 1, we have John Pertwee's autobiography, Moon Boots and Dinner Suits, with a lot of special stuff, with John Pertwee's memorial service there. And that is an item I will cherish forever for the rest of my days. Absolutely special. So that's my top 5 bits of merchandise of 2016. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video. So if you want to do a video response to this, please do, and I'll check it out. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.